Okay, so the question I have, what time is it? It is math time, baby. Math time. All right, quit your moaning and groaning. We're actually going to do a study guide or a practice test for Wednesday's test. And in your little packets of things that Ms. Taylor brought to your house were a math set that was stapled together. On the very front of it it'll say Cumulative Test 14A. And you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna rip that one out. See how I did, just easy peasy. You're gonna rip that one out and we're gonna work on this one together. And then later on I might email your parents the correct answers of the computation part to make sure you're getting it right. Okay, so let's start. Let's go, go, go. Pause this video, go get that little sheet from your parents, only 14A, and come right back. All right, so we're gonna start with number 1. Amy and Michelle had 96 fence posts. They used 1/4 of the post for the garden and then the rest for their yard. How many posts did Amy and Michelle use for the garden? 1/4 of 96. Yes, 1/4 of 96. I'll do it just for a little while. So I have 1/4 times, because that's what of means, times 96. So I know that 96 times 1 is 96, and 4 times 1 is 4. So now, this is where I'm at. I'm going to use my think cloud here, right? And I'm going to, let's see, I can draw a think cloud on this board, right? Here's your cute little self. All right, you're going to say 4 goes into 96. Right? Okay, 4 goes into 96 2 times, because 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 9 is 1. 1 is smaller than 4. We've done all we can do. We're going to bring down the next digit, which is 6. 4 goes into 16 4 times, because 4 times 4 is 16 minus 0. So 1/4 of 96 is 24 posts. See how smart you are? So the question, let's make certain, how many posts did Amy and Michelle use for the garden? It says they used 1/4 post for the garden, so that equals 24 posts. Next question, and I want you to just think about this and see if we can't do this mentally. The question is, 25% of the birds were starlings. What percent of the birds were not starlings? And when we use percentage, it's always based off of 100. So if I have 25% over here that are starlings, how much do I have left or remaining that's not? 100 minus 25, 75%. That's exactly right. So you would answer it in such a way, 75% are non-starling birds. Now, each salad is made with 4 tomatoes. Now, no, in 4th grade, there's very few of you that like tomatoes, so I'm thinking you're not gonna eat this salad, but it sounds kind of yummy to me. How many tomatoes are needed to make 160 salads? So I set it up like this. 1/4, or 1 salad equals 4 tomatoes. So if I have 160 salads, then how many tomatoes am I gonna need? Well, how did I get from 1 to 4? From 1 salad, 4 tomatoes, that means 1 times 4. So now I have 160 salads times 4 tomatoes each, right? See where I'm going with this? Boom, 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 boom. That is correct. That's a lot of tomatoes, 640 tomatoes. That is a lot. So that's how you would answer it. The next is asking us, and we're on number 4, the next question is asking, we're going to estimate the sums by rounding each number to the nearest 1,000 before adding. So we're going to round, so it's estimating. I want you to look at this part right here, please and thank you. Yeah? So if I have 5,876, I'm looking at my thousands place value, which is 5. And then I'm going to look at my hundred place value, which is 8. Is 8 5 or higher? It sure is. So that means I'm going to round 5 to 6 and make everything else zeros. Then the next number they give us is 7,215. So I'm looking at my 7,000, and then I'm going to my 2 in the hundredths value. Is 2 5 or higher? Nope. So I'm going to leave the 7 alone, and I'm going to make all the rest zeros. So they wanted us to estimate or round before we add. Is that the answer you got? I sure hope so. That is the correct answer, 13,000. Okay. Now I think this one's kind of easy. However, I need you to write them down like they were money before we add up. Let's try it this way. All right, so I am on number 5. And it says, what is the value of 7 pennies, 2 dimes, 5 quarters, and 7 nickels? Write the answer using a dollar sign and decimal point. So 7 pennies, well that is 0.07, right? Yeah. 2 dimes, 20 cents. Yeah. Okay. 5 quarters. Well, 4 quarters is $1. Add another, it's $1.25. Right? Okay, and the last one, 7 nickels. Well, a nickel is worth 5. 5 times 7 is 35. So I'm going to put 0.35. Now the question is, what is the value? Meaning, how much is that? Well, I'm going to add it together to find out how much that is. Now, if it helps me, I can go ahead and put this 0 in front of these decimals because it does not change the value, but it sure does help when I'm adding and keeping my decimals straight in line. Exactly right. All right, so add away. I'm not going to give you the answer. You're smart, you can do this, but it has to have a dollar sign and the decimal. And you tell me what the answer is. Okay. Number 6. 1/5 of the salespeople earn a commission. If there were 60 salespeople in all, how many salespeople earned a commission? Well, here we go, the same way. 1/5 of the salespersons. So we know that that is going to be an of, which means I'm going to multiply, or yes, 1/4, nope, 1/5. So I have 1/5 of 60 salespersons. So 1/5 times 60 over 1. With me? All right, so 1 times 60 is 60. 5 times 1 is 5. Here you are as the cute little 4th grader. Think cloud. So what you're saying is 5 goes into 60 how many times? Well, 5 goes into 6 once. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract 1. 5 goes into 10 2 times, because 2 times 10, 2 times 5 is 10. So what is 1/5 of 60? 12 salespeople, because I guess it could be boy or girl, right? 12 salespeople earn a commission. So we know that when it's asking us a fraction of a whole that we are going to multiply, but we know that when we multiply by fractions, we're actually dividing, and that's exactly what we did here. If I have 60 over 5, that's an improper fraction. So I'm going to take my denominator and I'm going to divide it into my numerator, and I'm going to come out with 12 even. Smart cookie is what you are. Smart cookie. Okay, number 7. What number is indicated on the number line below? Now, typically when they've been giving us these, they're fractions or decimals, they're mixed numbers. But in this case, if you really look right here, you will see those are whole numbers. And those whole numbers are in the negative and go to the positive. So let's go on this sheet and let's mark the numbers that we know. So if it's -5 and I'm moving towards the 0, it would then be -4, -3, -2, -1, then 0. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See where we are? So where is that arrow pointing? Yes, you are correct. You are pointing at the -2 digit. All right, number 8. Douglas has a pentagon, penta meaning 5, like the Pentagon in Virginia, and an octagon, like an octopus, has 8. What is the total number of sides on the 2 polygons? Well, pentagon and octagon is a polygon. Remember, it's a closed object, and they are two-dimensional basically. But what you're looking at is an octagon that has 5 sides, and then a pentagon that has 5, and an octagon that has 8. So the question is, how many sides altogether? 8 plus 5 is 13. That's exactly right. So you would write 13 sides. All right, on number 9, 2 parts. It says this line segment below shows is how many centimeters and then how many millimeters. So what it's wanting you to do, it's wanting you to be able to convert one to the other. So let's look at, in fact, I was going to highlight the line itself so we know which one we're talking about here. So here's my highlighted line. It ends right here. My first question is how many centimeters? Well, I'm going to look at my centimeter guide or ruler, and it's 5 centimeters. Well, I automatically know if I have 5 centimeters, then I have 50 millimeters. Exactly right. So you have to write both answers down though. So for A, you're going to write 5 cm, and for B, you're going to write 50 mm. Don't forget to do both of those, right? Okay. So we'll turn that page. They keep giving us the same rectangle, and I'm not sure why, but we've got it, people. We've got it. So they give us the same rectangle, and this rectangle is 6 by 4. And it's asking me, well, it's in feet. So it's 6 feet by 4 feet. And it's asking you, what is the perimeter? So the perimeter is the distance around an object. So I know if the top of the rectangle is 6 feet, then I know the bottom is 6 feet. If I know one side is 4 feet, that means the other side is 4 feet. So 6 plus 6 is 12, and then 4 plus 4 is 8. 12 plus 8 is 20. So you're going to write perimeter, or P, equals 20 feet. You don't even really have to show me the work because I know you can do that mentally. Okay, that was number 10, but number 11 comes around and says, well, why don't you go ahead and tell me the area of the rectangle in the problem above. So I know that area equals length times width, and so if I multiply 6 times 4, I'm going to get 24 feet squared. Good job. All right. Now, 12, 13, 14, 15 are all add, subtract, and multiply. You can do this. Ms. Taylor does not need to do this with you or for you. Okay, numbers 17, 18, and 19. Dividing, multiplying, subtracting. Again, Ms. Taylor does not need to do those with you or for you. Let's look at number 16 together so that we don't get it messed up, because when it comes to square root, so number 16 is telling us 9 squared minus the square root of 9 equals what? 9 squared, can you see that? Yep. 9 squared minus the square root of 9. Well, 9 squared is not 9 times 2. What is it? 9 times 9. So that's 81 minus, what's the square root of 9? Remember, a number times itself, 3. So I have 81 minus 3. 81 minus 3 equals what, buddy? Come on, Kellen, tell me what it is. Oh, Zane answered for you. You know, so it's 78. So number 16, you would have gotten 78. Now there's one last one I wanted to do with you together, which is number 20. It says find the missing factor. 6s equals 96. 6s means that 6 times some unknown number equals 96. What is the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. So I have to get the number or the letter s by itself. So if 6 times s equals 96, then I'm going to divide one side by 6, then the other side by 6. What I accomplish is that I have s by itself and I have an equation to solve the problem. So if I have 6s equals 96, I know the opposite of multiplying, which is what that means in math. When a number and a variable are together, it means multiplying. So I'm going to divide this side by 6 and divide this side by 6. 6 goes into 6 one time. 1 times s is s, so I have s. And here I have my fraction or improper fraction, which means I'm going to divide or simplify it. So here you are with your cute little think self again, okay? Yeah, in fact, we're going to pick on Lillian and Juanito since this little guy is really little. It has to be one of them, right? Lillian. Oh. Okay. 6 goes into 96. 6 goes into 9 one time because 1 times 6 is 6, and when I subtract I have 3. 3 is less than 6, so I've done everything I can do at this point. I'm going to bring down my 6. 6 goes into 36 6 times because 6 times 6 is 36. Boom. So S equals 16. Now, if I'm not real sure, how could I check my answer? Well, I could plug in right here, and you're telling me S equals this. Why can't I take that same equation, 6S equals 96? So I could say 6 times 16 is going to equal 96. Again, with the think cloud, you'd come over here and say 16 times 6. Well, 6 times 6 is 36, and I carry my 3. 6 times 1 is 6. 7, 8, 9. Well, how about there? You get a happy face, and you get to do the happy dance, woo, 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 woo. You got it right. Okay, so that is 20 problems that are on a practice test. You will have your parents take a picture of the front and the back for me, And I will also text them the correct answers for everything to make sure you got it right. And then on Wednesday, you'll have a math test. We're going to try it. Don't stress on me. Don't get all upset, okay? All I know is we can do this. It's math. You're good at it, and you're going to get it. You've been practicing. Thumbs up. Yeah, I cut my thumb cutting up squash. Long story.